Following up on our last video about breathing, I want to give you guys a little progression to work on at home because I think it's important to, hear the concept, seed it a little bit, see if you can work it into your life. This is the progression that I typically have my patients do, and I actually, when we teach our fundamentals class in CrossFit, we teach the same progression because I want people to be aware of what they're doing and what their body finds as stressful. Some people that are used to these concepts, it doesn't register as a stress response at all, meaning it doesn't shift their breathing, or even holding our breath can be considered a stress response. Now, if I get you to do some of this stuff and you totally hold your breath and you shut down, then that means that we just overloaded you and it's too stressful of a position for your body to think about more than one thing at a time. So the idea would be through repeated exposure and practice to get you to a place where you can regulate your breathing in that diaphragmatic primary way during some of these positions. So let's review. I'll get you down on your back, knees bent, comfortable position, one hand on your belly, one hand on your chest, and just take inventory and breathe. In and out of your nose, in and out, and nice and slow breaths. That bottom hand should be rising and falling. That top hand should be pretty mellow. Maybe a little bit of movement, but very little. Okay, so phase 2 here is I'm going to have you lift your head, but first you're going to tuck your chin and lift your head up. And as soon as I do that, my abs kick in a little bit because just laying there is pretty easy, but my abs have to turn on so that my head can lift, which is pretty cool. But what I might find is my belly doesn't rise as much when that's happening, but from here, I can still keep my chin tucked, my head lifted, my abs engaged, just reflexively, and I can still breathe into my belly. But now I'm feeling a little bit more of a pressure in my belly because my abs are engaged, so it's not gonna go up and down quite as much, but that's okay. Okay, phase 2, or the next one. Next step, I'm gonna take one foot and then the other foot off the ground, so my knees are right above my hips. It's gonna kick my core in a little stronger. And I can still breathe. Again, pressurizing here. You can see this hand rising and falling just a little bit. Next, I'm going to take one leg out. And if I look at this position, if you were to put me standing on one foot, it actually looks like I'm walking or marching. Might start to shake a little bit, but that's okay. Can we still breathe into our belly? Can I do that on the other side? Yes and yes. Cool thing about that is sometimes you'll find people that can do it on one side, but they can't do it on the other side. So clearly there's some sort of a stress dysfunction there or breathing dysfunction with that functional pattern. To make it really hard, we can kind of get you out in this kind of hollow position. I'm shaking a little bit here, but I'm still able to breathe in and out of my belly, which is important. So good. So those all work. The next would be, can we do this hands and knees? So can I get here and have you kind of rock back and forth? By the way, I'm going to encourage you guys to play along here. I want you here, and can I just, same thing. If I want, I can just take one hand and ensure that I'm breathing in and out of my belly. A lot of times we use breathing as timing with our home exercise program, meaning if I gave somebody like a bird dog exercise, which is this simple exercise, which almost everybody on the planet has seen. If you haven't, it's a great one, but maybe that also means you haven't done low back rehab, at least not low back rehab with us. But can I be in this position, reach my heel towards the back wall, reach my hand towards that front wall, really press down on the ground, try not to fall over, and breathe in and out of my belly through my nose. I'm going to hold that for 3 breaths. And then I'll go ahead and I'll try the other side. Pretty cool, right? Easy enough. Next is going to be sitting, feet flat on the ground. Yep, I can do that. It's pretty cool. Next would be standing. So can I stand here? And breathe in and out of my belly? Yes, I can. Next, can I stand? Remember this position? Like we did lying down. Well, now I'm standing up. Like I said, standing, walking or marching. Can I do that? First off, can you just balance on one foot? It's harder than it seems like it should be. And then can I do it on this side? And can I, again, breathe into my belly? And again, you might see a difference on side to side, especially if you have, a new or maybe even an old low back, hip, knee, or ankle, or even foot problem. Maybe that is too much. And you might start to find like, oh my gosh, every time I'm standing on my right foot, I'm breathing differently. It's like, maybe. So when you walk around, every time you being loaded on your right foot might be causing stress to your system, and it changes the way you breathe. Again, we're talking about these like little things that seem insignificant, but there's an aggregate or a cumulative effect to our bodies, which ultimately affects our health and wellness. So I really am going to encourage you guys, again, take this progression, follow along, run this video back and play it slowly, pause it if you need to, download it, whatever you need to do. Let's see if we can get this information to you and have you guys try this and check in with yourself. It's our job as your PTs to, of course, look at the body comprehensively. We don't always go to this level because most people don't need it. They need some kind of basic superficial stuff. As we start to peel away layers, sometimes we got to get deeper and deeper down into these types of concepts to really find like what is happening on like the micro level that might be leading to some of the problems, or maybe just like the inability to fully recover from something. So again, this isn't standard practice that we do this on every single person, but I have had to go through this level of detail with people to find these things and then to develop a home program to work on it. But a lot of times it's just going to be putting you in that position and making you breathe. So that's a good check. See where you can work that into your life. See if you kind of get stuck in certain places, and let us know if we can help.